Hello there. Welcome back to the Force Collective. It's been a little bit, but we're back, and we got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Like a lot. But I'm going to first start off by saying I'm sort of just done talking about the new Star Wars shows. I still haven't watched Star Wars Visions yet.
Oh, I haven't
So,
even watched all the first. I haven't even watched the first one yet. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
checked
so
out.
I've only watched the first episode of Visions. Actually, maybe the first two. No, it was just the first one. And I mean, not that it was bad. I'm not saying that. The first one was okay, but I noticed a trend going on, and I also just haven't felt interested enough. After the bad taste in my mouth that was Mando season 3, I just haven't had the interest for anything like that recently. So we're going to not review it right now, honestly. I mean, I'll give my overall thoughts. Like, I didn't like it, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 at the most part, I guess. I don't know if that maybe I gave a different rating last time. I can't remember. I've had more time to think about it, I guess. Maybe 5 or 6 out of 10, somewhere in that area. But that's it. That's all we're getting for Mando. And as far as Visions, once I watch it, I'll give my thoughts on it. But I've still not watched it, and unfortunately for them, well, I guess my one view won't matter too much, but unfortunately, I don't feel
It
interested enough
actually might.
to it. Well, I mean, okay, no, you're right, because this is a stream about the state of Lucasfilm, and at the moment, it's not even just Lucasfilm. Maybe I should change the title to Disney, but I guess in a way, every view will matter coming pretty soon because they're not really doing so hot, and that's what this whole stream really is about how Lucasfilm is not doing good at all, or Disney for that matter. And to start off, since I already mentioned we're just sort of done reviewing Mando, I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I've lost interest. Um, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about all the crazy things that's happened recently with Disney. Like
And they
they
keep happening, like in
it,
real.
it
Like there's
does.
probably things that are happening right now in real time that we are not aware of.
Like I'll name off just a few little examples. Like what was it? The 4 billion subscribers that they lost from Disney
Mm-hmm.
Plus. Okay, so there's that. Uh, Galactic Star Cruiser shut down. Willow was removed from Disney Plus. We mentioned that last time, I think.
A lot of
Uh,
stuff removed from Disney Plus.
oh yeah, and the leaked plot for Indy doesn't sound too great. So not sounding too good for Indy. Plus the fact that it's already a super expensive movie, and it's probably not going to make money. That's
I
another
heard
shock.
regarding Indy. I think I heard somewhere it was probably like either. I forget what channel I saw it on, but they were kind of looking at an article with kind of projections for box, like kind of one of the first like box office projections to come out for Indy 5, and apparently the range, a lot of the range is lower than the domestic opening for Crystal Skull.
Really, that's insane.
Yeah.
I
It's and
you keep muting, and I think you're.
sorry, I've got
Yeah.
family who keep
Oh,
asking me
okay.
about asking me where their chargers are. That I
Oh, okay.
in my family, I think everyone assumes that I've stolen the chargers, the phone chargers, and I don't. I'm innocent. I keep my own.
That's awesome.
Honestly, I
That's
think my
great.
dad probably stole them. I'm
I
just
mean,
the
you're probably
scapegoat.
right.
But so yeah, I didn't want to yell into the stream saying I didn't take them. But anyways, So what I was going to say is that's like Crystal Skull. That was like what, like 15 years ago. Like that was over a decade ago, a long time ago. And inflation is a thing that has happened since then. A lot of inflation. So if you if your most recent Indiana Jones movie can't beat might not beat the last movie that was released back like 15 years ago, even with the advantage of inflation can't beat it, that's impressive. That is most impressive. Yeah, but yeah, that was kind of the other Indiana Jones side. And the thing is like, even if we didn't have the plot leaks kind of confirming, yeah, this will be kind of a disappointing story. Even if we didn't have that, I think people, you almost don't need the leaks because people already kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have kind of gotten this track record of just wanting to just kind of disappoint people and depress people for the sake of it, because they think it's edgy or something. And it's gotten old, and people, I think, have caught on to it, where it's like, by default, if I'm going to watch something that's been produced by Lucasfilm or Disney, generally, I like, there are other, like, maybe studios or filmmakers that I would just trust and go into and trust and watch, but for something Lucasfilm, I have to spoil it in advance to decide whether it's worth my time from this point forward.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I'm confused as to why people think this is going to be better than Crystal Skull as well. I mean, I know it was a bad movie,
and that's the thing is, I'm probably I'm saying this as, I'm probably the rare person who, like, I liked Crystal Skull. Is it my favorite Indiana Jones movie? Of course not. But, is it one that I can actually rewatch again and not feel sad? Yes. Whereas I feel like if that this Indiana Jones movie that's coming down the pipeline, I feel like it's going to be one of those ones where, like, at most you can watch it once, but then it'll just kind of, it's like, then it'll just leave you sad afterwards and you kind of wish you hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
I've said multiple times on Twitter, at least the fourth one let Indiana Jones be happy, and it didn't let him be one-upped by his son or any other younger character, This one, on the other hand, yeah.
It just, I'm with you. I did like Crystal Skull. I'm not one of those people that grew up like when Indiana Jones first came out, and so I'm probably not on that side of the fandom for Indiana Jones.
And granted, I'm not going to argue to anyone that it's a good movie or whatever, that it's art or whatever, but it's something where it's like, I walked away from the theater happy. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, there are plenty of times where you can have a movie where it's like, okay, this isn't a good movie, or this isn't art, this isn't a well-crafted movie, but you can still kind of, it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, that's what I feel like, when if kind of what I hear about Indy 5 is true, I feel like it's like with these two movies, you can have one on the one hand where it's like, okay, maybe not the best crafted movie, but it was still ultimately, it was like an enjoyable experience. It was fun, and I didn't feel sad or depressed from it. Just walked away happy. Whereas this one, yeah, they've definitely probably thrown a lot more money and time and attention to this movie, but it's not, that doesn't mean it's going to be just an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Apparently, the budget for this movie was 295 million. By the way,
That's crazy, and that's probably a low, probably the low end of, you know what I mean? Like there's probably
Mhm.
a lot more spending on this than they're disclosing,
Yeah.
because it's obviously in, there may have been a time where, it was cool to kind of, as a studio brag, oh, we spent this many million on this movie. But in Disney's situation, like, you want to understate how much you spent in as much as possible. You do not want to freak out investors more than they are already freaked out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was more. But that, even that number, if that's it, that's horrifying.
Well, what's worse is like, I mean, they predict that an opening weekend it'll make roughly between 81 million to 111 million. That's an opening weekend. Uh, that's from the low to high range, and then in the domestic total, they're thinking it'll make between 225 to 380 million. And I'm just thinking to myself, it'll probably be near the low range. Now, I'm not trying to be a pessimist or say I'm right, because maybe we're completely wrong, but with the way things have been lately, it's a little hard to imagine that I'm completely wrong here. Now, I'm not going to say it won't succeed financially, because it is probably going to be the last Indiana Jones movie. And there's going to be a lot of people probably wanting to see the final one in theaters, especially if they want to, like, for the ones that I'm talking about, that I'm not part of that demographic of people, they might want to take their kids and watch indie in theaters with them, like they probably did back when they were kids. So there's always those people, but the sad thing is, like, they may end up, or at least the adults may end up disappointed. The kids might not be so much. Kids don't usually care as much. The adults, the ones that make up most of the audience, is going to be disappointed and may possibly just not show up at all. I mean, who knows? They might even walk out if they do go.
Yep. And the thing is that at one point I would have thought, oh, this is the final Indiana Jones movie. This would make a crazy amount of money. But then again, you see with, you see what happened with The Rise of Skywalker. That was the lowest the performing movie of the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
And you would have thought that that movie, which had, it had like all of the cameos. You
Hmm.
got, you got Luke, they shoehorned in Han Solo, you had Leia, you had Lando, you had, it was, and it was like, if that should have been the movie that did the best out of all three of them.
Yep.
And
Should have
that
been.
was the worst performer. And I think, yeah, I also think Indiana Jones is, I've heard things where people have said, like, between the ridiculous, crazy budget and marketing, that this film needs to make at least $1 billion to be kind of in break even territory.
Hmm.
I do not see that happening.
I don't either.
Like, I don't see Disney really getting anything hitting $1 billion at all in their pipeline in
No.
with any of their studios. And that's great news for us if we want better stuff down the road.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Um, but yeah, that's crazy to think of.
Um. Oh, go ahead.
Oh right, yeah. I was kind of thinking, like, I forget what I was thinking. Never mind.
Well, I also forgot what I was about to say. Well, anyways, uh, speaking of, like, them failing is sort of a good thing for better uh, content. I mean, we also got to talk about it's not even just it's not even just how poorly written it is or what they're doing with the characters. It's also the CGI work and stuff like that in a lot of
Oh
these new
yeah.
movies too. Like I'm going to be the first one to say this because I notice these types of things. I like anything to do with animation and stuff like that. So anything like that, I pay attention to. So I'm, looking at the CGI for, let's say, Ant-Man, Quantumania. I'm looking at it at the CGI in the trailers for The Little Mermaid. I've watched little bits and pieces on YouTube about She-Hulk and seeing the CGI on that. Like,
Oh
they
dear.
aren't spending enough money on the CGI, but yet they're spending like tons of money on a lot of these projects.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because at least from what you hear anecdotally of kind of the people who are involved with the CGI talking about how they're like it's terrible working conditions and scheduling issues and stuff, and and the thing is that if they haven't already, you're once again, I don't necessarily know how this industry works and kind of the different sub industries that are, and what their situation is, whether particular kinds of workers in the movie industry are able to unionize or not. But if they're
Mm-hmm.
able to, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd go like they ought to go out on strike from what I hear, like because it seems part of also what hampers, what affects Disney's CGI is like their producers are just terrible, do a terrible job at scheduling and committing to stories. Like that, you always hear about these in different studios, things going through reshoots.
Yep.
Marvel reshoots, Lucasfilm reshoots, just Disney general reshoots, or creative differences, or stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh,
And
also, you probably already remember this, but we also need to talk about today the Pixar news, the firings.
oh yeah, that was the other thing. I knew I was
That's
forgetting something. I knew I
that's
was
a
forgetting
big
something.
deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. I only heard briefly about it because I've been doing a lot of I've been trying to watch a lot of stuff before the stream, trying to get all the information I can in mind. But that one was a brand new one that I just heard about today, and
Yeah,
it
that's
honestly surprised me.
and what's I mean, interesting thing is it's like at least the names. I'm sure there's probably a full list out there somewhere, but like the names that were kind of prominent in the firings were people associated with Lightyear, and for good reason. Um,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
you know, it's interesting. It's clear that someone. That's the thing. I don't know if Iger's aware. That's the big problem with Disney right now is that the guy up at the top is very unself-aware.
That's what
At
it seems
least,
like.
yeah. Um, I know sometimes channels will talk about him being dissatisfied with Kennedy or so and so wanting to ream them out or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he's yeah, I could see him being disappointed with say Lucasfilm or Marvel or Pixar executives in as much as that they're for some reason their movies aren't making him money. But I don't know if he quite yet understands the reason why those movies aren't making him money yet. um,
I mean, I mean, everybody online is telling him what it is. He just has to listen, really.
you would you would think it would be so simple for the answers are right there in front of him, but nope. But that is
Nope.
interesting that that someone, I don't know whether his decision or if someone under him who's intelligent made this decision to specifically target Lightyear, basically. You know, because that's what it struck me as. It was like kind of more of a targeted set of firings, um,
Yeah.
and which, as opposed to kind of a general, well, we'll just look at this spreadsheet and see, oh, this person earns this salary and this person earns that salary, and we could save X number of dollars by cutting this, this, and this position. It seemed like, it was a little bit more individualized and targeted than that, which is interesting. And it could be a sign that maybe they're starting to kind of figure out um, what's wrong. But yeah, and it was obviously interesting, as people have noted on social media, that some of the people who were fired had been at Pixar for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so no position there is safe. Do you think
Nope.
that? I guess I could see that. Do you think that? And I don't. My mind is like, is dead today, so I don't have like the proper corporate ease term for it. But could you see Disney basically taking Pixar and kind of shuttering it and just kind of bringing all of the, whatever's left in terms of employees, just bringing them under the Walt Disney Animation umbrella
I
and
can see
kind of,
that.
yeah, and I don't know
Disney
if they,
likes to acquire properties and companies and franchises, all that stuff. It wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, they
I
like to acquire,
I
but my
think.
point is like shuttering it, like completely, like there's not going to be anything released under Pixar anymore. It's
Oh, that's what you meant.
yeah, like
I still think that you're probably right, or that can happen.
this is where I wish I understood more about kind of like how these tax write downs work, um and whether they might be able to get some. It'd be interesting, like what other kind of financial benefits they could get beyond firing people, not having to pay those salaries of just shuttering Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pixar's had trouble because they hadn't. They'd been kind of releasing things on Disney Plus for a few movies,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess it was Lightyear that was their first one kind of back in the theaters, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that did so well for them. Um,
Yeah.
and they can keep blaming it on, oh, well, people are accustomed to streaming Pixar movies. And we're like, no, that hasn't been happening for that long. And also, Lightyear, they can't blame it on like, oh, it wasn't heavily marketed enough. It's like this is connected to the Toy Story franchise. I think everyone knows what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows who Buzz Lightyear is. This isn't like that. This is some kind of little unknown artistic, movie that Disney just wasn't brave enough to market. Like I remember being so freaking annoyed by that cat, seeing that cat all the time in all these commercials. They marketed that movie. Um, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, they really did. And honestly, like when I watched the marketing for it, I recognized that the animation was beautiful, but I did not like anything that I saw in it. It just didn't hook me. And then when I heard about who the twist villain is at the very end, that sealed it for me. I
Of
refused to even
course.
watch it on Disney Plus.
Yep.
So,
Of
I-
course.
and it's not even like it's not even for just because I don't like Buzz Lightyear. I love Buzz Lightyear. If you know me really well, uh,
I love the
Toy
Toy
Story is my
Story movies.
yes, Toy Story is my favorite animated franchise of all time. Nothing tops Toy Story to me in the animation department. That was until Toy Story 4, which doesn't exist. I don't know why I
Yeah.
brought that one up. Where did that one come from? Are they making a Toy Story 4? That'd be great if it was done right. Which is the last one? Okay, in all seriousness, the last one,
Yep.
that fourth one was terrible. And I've already mentioned I think in like previous streams before how much I hate the fourth one. and how they should have left it alone at the third one.
it was such a it was such a perfect ending.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know how you can mess with that. It,
That's
uh,
the thing. That's
yeah,
they messed with it, and it just didn't turn out the way that they would hope. I mean, they were trying to make money off of a franchise. It is more of a cash grab type of deal, is what I'm trying to say, and it's not really made for to continue the story. It's just cash grab. They ran out of ideas and they wanted to make money, and they knew Toy Story would bring in money, which it probably did. Actually, I can probably look up how much money it did make. Give me a second. I'm going to look that up. But even if it did make money, like the reviews for it probably weren't that great.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, that thing came out. That was still when people had like plenty of goodwill towards Pixar,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and and were probably expecting something different, and then they didn't
Mm-hmm.
get that. But at this point, it's like now the goodwill is gone. It's they've wasted it. You can get away with you can get away with a bad movie occasionally, and you can walk away, and people will have paid to see it, whatever. But you gotta. That's the thing. It's like even if you make a bad movie and you get away with it, and you turn a profit on it, you gotta think about the future because you can't just live off of the profits from that one movie for eternity for the rest of your company's existence. You got to keep putting out more movies. And you got to think about, okay, well this movie I make, even if I turn a profit on it, will it kind of expend whatever goodwill that I had with my existing audience and customer base? Do I really want to do that? Because that I could put myself in a situation where they don't want to come back and watch my stuff because they just have now been habituated to, like, they just expect, well, this is coming from a studio under the Disney umbrella, so therefore it's going to be really depressing and disappointing, and so no point sitting through that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just so yeah, I took kind of, and yeah, I guess I'm not supposed to take pleasure in the miseries of others, but I did kind of take pleasure in that, that the director for Lightyear got canned, um, among
I
other
agree.
people.
It,
Like,
it was it was a boring movie from everything I was told. Like the plot that I heard bored me.
yeah, and I really like if you look on Wikipedia, and this I wrote some tweets about this, and this irritated me. If you look on Wikipedia for Lightyear, and it's under like the production history section or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe a casting section, there's a bit where McLean was kind of where he was explaining why he cast Chris Evans and not Tim Allen, and he was explaining, well, but the gist of it was he was saying, well, the buzz from the movies was just too goofy, and I was looking for someone, with more of kind of that like movie star gravitas or whatever, and I wanted more drama to this story, and kind of all that kind of little that talk. And what gets me is that it's like, no, but that's how that character works. It's the fact that Buzz Lightyear, it's that goofy factor that also kind of sets up the more poignant moments in those movies. It's all it's all part of the same package. It's like by kind of genericizing the character and removing kind of the goofiness of him, especially you get in the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
kind of take away a lot of the what made those movies great and the friendship dynamic between the characters and all that. It's like you completely missed the point. It you know,
Mm-hmm.
but what do I know?
Yeah, we're only the audience, you know, like what we know. By the way, the fourth Toy Story movie made 434 million 38,008 dollars.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, the opening was pretty good. 120 million 908,065 dollars. I mean, a fourth Toy Story movie. Who doesn't want to see that? So it
I remember
opened
Toy
pretty
Story
good.
3 made a lot.
Yeah, let me look at Toy Story 3 now. Toy Story 3
Did it reach 1 billion? I feel like it ought to.
worldwide, yes, 1 billion
Mm-hmm.
66 billion or million 969,703. That was
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah, not
So
surprised.
yeah, and you know that's crazy. Like you'd think after such a good third movie, you'd think that well, now this is now I just now realized this the that was just the domestic that I named for Toy Story 4. Where's worldwide? Okay. Okay, here we go. So, what did I say Toy Story 3 was though?
Was
Let's
it
go back.
like 1.6 or something billion? I forget.
It was
A
yeah,
lot.
it was 1.6. Okay. So the other one it did actually reach a billion worldwide. But it did not reach as high.
Mm-hmm.
It no, dang, I'm misreading terribly. I'm looking at the wrong ones. Okay, so yeah, it did reach a billion. It actually made a little more money than the third one. Just it was 1,700,000,000, not 700, 1 billion. I can't read. 1,073,841,394 dollars. So it did make more money.
What year? Okay, what
That
year
was
were each released?
well, okay, so
Because we've
oh
got
yeah, that's
inflation
inflation.
too.
That's right. Inflation, you're right. So 2010 was Toy Story 3, and then 9 years later, you know, in 2019, we got Toy Story 4.
Oh yeah, that all makes sense. Because I remember like when Toy Story 3 came out, like just started I'd like just started college, and it was kind of cool and fitting because it was like I remembered in the '90s seeing the original Toy Story, being like Andy's age, and then
Yeah,
seeing that one. That was so cool. Um, uh, see, the fourth one, and Grant, I have not seen the fourth one. I've just seen bits and pieces. But to me, just from what I understand, one thing that they could have done that would have improved it, at least in my mind, exponentially, is don't separate Buzz and Woody. Like, don't separate. No, like,
that's
no,
what
just,
ruined it for me.
it's like, why?
They were what I idolized as being great best friends, you know? Like that's how I sort of got my view of what friends should be like, you know? I'm looking at Woody and Buzz and I'm thinking those are true friends right there, you know? And then
Yes.
at the end of this movie, they set no throughout the whole movie they're completely separate, and then by the end of the movie when they finally get meet up together, that they're Woody's like, yeah, I'm not coming back. I'm going to go with Bo Peep over here, you know, and just that's it. And the the not this not disgust the disappointment that I felt at
Mm-hmm.
that moment when he basically tells Buzz goodbye just ruined
Yeah,
me.
like,
So I keep referencing it too, like in my head. The second movie they said they'll be together for infinity and beyond, and where's that? Where is that? You know, what happened with that? Did they
that's what
forget
I
that?
really loved. Yeah, that's what I really loved about the third movie is it kind of followed through on the promise of two. Like they
Hmm.
even like had a song at the end saying that we belong together, something like that. Like it was like they were like it was
Yes.
that was the emphasis of that movie. That um
And then they also completely changed how Bo Peep was, which I mean, not that I
mhm.
disliked it that much. I thought she was pretty cool, her returning and all that stuff, but it still didn't feel like the character that we had seen in the previous movies. And I get it, they want to give her a bigger role, which is fine, but I think they changed her character a little too much, in my opinion. And for Woody to leave, all his friends for Bo,
Yeah,
just sort of, it don't work for me.
it doesn't. And yeah, it's like that's the other thing that's like okay, like so if you want to kind of upgrade Bo Peep, that's fine. But then just bring her back with everyone else, you know? Bring
Yeah,
everyone all back together. It's like this isn't an either or situation. Um, but it's
yeah,
as always with all of these Disney studios, it always seems to be an either or situation with them. That you can either like I don't know, this is where we need like Chrono and Saray away to join in the rant. But I don't like this whole like that it's like, okay, you can either have strong independent female character or you can have her be with, you know, family and friends and other people. You know what I mean? Like it's like this
yeah.
isn't, you know, mutually exclusive. Um, but what do I know? What do I know?
Plus, there's one other thing. There's one particular character I hated in that entire movie, and that was the stupid
Oh
Spork,
yes,
whatever Forky, I think is his name.
yeah,
I hated that thing. I hated it. He wanted to
yep.
always be thrown away and all that junk, and he caused this whole problem to happen. And the entirety of the movie, he's trying to throw himself away. It's so stupid. Like, give, never mind. I'm tired of trying to talk sense about this. We
if
we sort of go ahead.
I was gonna say if somehow I was the head of Pixar, here's what I would do. I would release a Toy Story 5, and what that would entail is completely undoing Toy Story 4. We will get everyone back together, and at the end of it, there will be a big celebration where they are all butchering the spork, whatever
Yes,
he is. Yeah,
yes,
just throw him in the incinerator from Toy Story 3 or whatever. Just something.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I that I would do that. I would do that. See, when you said that incinerator, it immediately brought me back to that scene. And
Mm-hmm.
the fourth movie didn't pull off a scene like this, but
No.
like that scene to this day still makes me tear up because
Yeah.
you know I grew up from a very young age with these characters, and I never got to watch those movies in theaters. Not at the time. If I did, I was too young. I don't know if my mom and dad ever told me if we had went or not. But I do remember that I had the old VHSs for both of them. I still do actually. The original VHSs that I had for
Nice.
the first and second one. And I refuse to get rid of those, even though I don't have a VHS player now. And VHS is obsolete, but that I watched those movies so many times on VHS. I don't think I'd ever probably watched any animated movie more than that one. I think my favorite one was the first one, though I do love the second one quite a bit. Out of the original two at the time, and then when that third one came out, I made sure that we went to the theater. I was
Oh yeah.
so excited, and I was legit like so. I don't usually cry in movies, and it takes a lot to make me cry in a movie. That one did it.
Yeah, that one the same for me. And that was like kind of the ending that was kind of the conclusion of like a what I thought was kind of an amazing period for Pixar, because you'd had like, I think you had like Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, and then this,
Mm-hmm.
and Toy Story 3 was kind of like the ultimate like tearjerker, um, at the end, and
Yep.
it was, that was amazing. And what's so weird to think is that you got to that moment, and that's the thing where Lightyear's director, Angus MacLean, he's like, oh, I was gaming for more drama. It's like you got drama right there. Like Toy Story already has it. You're acting
Yeah.
like Toy Story didn't have it. It has it, but it achieved it by building it up all the way from it was built up from the first movie where you've got like Buzz Lightyear, I am Mrs. Nesbit, like
I love that part.
you just you it's crazy to think that scenes like that and the incinerator scene are all part of the same continuous story. Um, you know, it's just is kind of weird. Like, and it's really cool when you see. It's very rare when you see kind of stories that can kind of blend the goofy really well with pathos, and but
Yeah.
that's one of them.
But now that let's move back more towards Lucasfilm now, because we've talked a lot about Disney and things that we like and dislike, and talking about their box office scores and all that junk. There's been and this is sort of the main reason I wanted to make this stream today, or this is the main topic I wanted to make it about. Really, is like there's so much going on right now, and there's for years there's been rumors that Kathleen is leaving, and that's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't exactly look for it to happen, but rumors are rumors. They do occur a lot, and these particular rumors lately seem to feel more credible. I'm thinking that because it's not because it's because of the times that we're in at the moment with Disney. They're losing a lot of money. They're having a very rough time with some of their things. Lucasfilm is not being that profitable at all right now. So with that situation and then the rumors of Kathleen leaving, it feels more believable. I still don't have any hope for her actually leaving. And even if she did, I feel like we'd get something worse in there. I mean, that's my pessimistic view of it.
What we
I'm
need
not
is Iger to leave.
that too. That too. Honestly, they just need new management in general, and one that focuses on actually making worthwhile entertainment and not just like that the what am I trying to say? The diversity Olympics. There we
There
go.
you go.
Diversity Olympics. Nothing wrong with diversity. There's a lot of movies that I particularly enjoy that are very diverse. But when that's the only thing the movie's about, that's where the problem is. And that's sort of like what the issue is with the Little Mermaid right now. From a lot of things I've heard, it just feels like that's all the movie was there to be, was just a diverse take on it, and that's it. I mean, all the daughters of this Triton. I'm trying to
How
say
many
so many
mer
different things.
women was he sleeping with?
Yeah, they were all different races. It makes no sense that they all came from the same dad, much less
Like
the same mom.
he's had a harem. Like
I'm assuming that they say something about it, maybe in the movie. Maybe
I see. I would have assumed that, but now I don't. Now
it,
I think it's just like
there has to be an explanation, right?
I'm sure there's some convoluted ad hoc explanation other than Triton was sleeping around, which would be the most likely.
I mean that's what it seems like, and that really bugs me because I liked Triton in the original. He seemed like he was a loyal father to his wife, or husband to his wife, a loyal father to his daughters.
It just occurred to me what you'd said.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to say many things, and it really
No,
came
I
out
get
wrong.
it.
So he appeared to be a loyal husband who cared very much about his wife. That's what I was trying to say, and
Yes.
a loyal father to his daughters. Trying to do his best to protect them, especially after his wife's death. And then now we got this new one who looks like he slept with every woman in the world, every race of woman in the world.
Of Merwoman.
Mer woman. And not only that, but they also changed all their names, which I think is sort of stupid too. I mean, if they really wanted to make new characters, they could have just done that. But they decided to replace old characters with these new ones instead of just make brand new ones. And let's not even get started on the new rap song thing.
Oh my.
I've heard people praising that, and I just wonder, why do you think you have the right to praise that? That there's no praising that.
I think
Okay, I sound
uh,
like a dictator when I say that, but hear me out. Hear me out. It's terrible. I don't understand. I really don't though. And if this is the quality that we are to expect from Disney, Lucasfilm especially right now, because they're not having that. They're not doing anything any different than that. It's basically the same people over both sides, just being like, hey, make this diverse. Don't care about the quality of the CGI or anything. Doesn't matter about the story. Don't matter whether the fans want to see this character or not. And some characters are just too old, cobwebbed, museum pieces. You don't need them. You need all these new ones over here that are clearly better, right?
what get what gets me is, and you know, actually I'll explain it like kind of by way of I think a thought experiment. I think one of the big problems with this movie is it isn't the race swapping, and here I'll
Nope.
explain. If people had a choice between, you can either have um you can either have a Little Mermaid where everyone's like, all the casting, it matches body type and appearance, like you got a redheaded Ariel, it all looks, in as much as live action can look like the animated Little Mermaid. But the twist is, it has the modern Little Mermaid's kind of more, feminist update sort of plot,
Mm-hmm.
versus you get a Little Mermaid where you get race swapping, but it keeps the traditional plot of the 1989 movie, you know, complete with all of its quote, problematic, patriarchal, anti-feminist, whatever it's, what I mean, where it's just a
Yeah.
simple story about, you know, a mermaid who, makes a deal with a witch to get legs so she can get a guy. That's, if you keep that story, you don't, you keep that story, you don't alter any of the songs, the original songs, you keep the original soundtrack, you don't add new rubbish, but everyone's race swapped. I think everyone would much prefer the race swapped movie that keeps the soundtrack and the plot and the original plot,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that in some ways that's almost, that's almost the big problem with this, is like the Little Mermaid. I mentioned this in the tweet the other day. Like, there's some Disney there's some movies in the Disney catalog that I think pair better with a modern sensibilities retelling than others. And granted, I don't like the whole kind of modern sensibilities, let's fix up this or that. I don't like it. But I do acknowledge there are some Disney movies that gel better with that than others. Like Beauty and the Beast is kind of like a classic example. Like with kind of the original movie and Gaston's kind of ridiculous kind of, it's
Mm-hmm.
not right for a woman to read. Soon she'll get ideas and thinking, and it fits. It's a better fit with what they did with the live action version. There's less. There is friction still between those two films, but there's less. Compared to other movies, that they try to adapt, like The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid, no, you're not going to be able to pull some feminist narrative out of The Little Mermaid. You can't. just
Nope.
just give up with that. Um, just and I'm saying this as someone, I'm a 21st century female or person with a uterus or whatever the correct term for woman's supposed to be. I'm whatever that is. I'm that. And I would never want to do what Ariel did. um, but I can still like just enjoy that film and that story. The original one for what it is. It's fun. And I like the soundtrack, and sometimes it's just a fantasy fairy tale story. I don't need it. I don't need Ariel to be a, a kind of a modern 21st century woman. I don't need that. Um, I see plenty of those every day.
Oh
I
yeah.
I'm fine with I'm fine with the patriarchal version of the Little Mermaid.
See, the thing is with me, I mean, I don't care if they race swap a character. That's not a problem with me. I mean, for a great example of that would be from the Batman from last year. Jim Gordon
Oh
was
yeah.
raced off to be black, and by far, probably my favorite, one of my favorite versions of Jim Gordon, by far, because he was a really good character, really well played. There's nothing wrong with race swapping characters. It's just a matter of how you do it. And some characters, it does depend on who you swap them out to be. Like let's say Mulan, if you changed her to be black, I'm sure that would probably be an issue.
Yeah, it is kind of like, how much is the character's ethnicity and appearance kind of a part of the narrative.
Hmm.
um and how much of with your story are you trying to like, like if you're trying to, if you're trying to tell a story about a certain time and place, then you're going to set some limits on casting with that. You just are.
Yeah, exactly. And I do appreciate when they try to stay, for the most part, loyal to the source material, even if they change it slightly. I mean, just think about the Mario movie. They changed it slightly, like they didn't have Mario talk in his, typical Mario voice throughout the entire movie. It was more, I mean, he had an Italian accent, but he didn't have that over the top Italian accent like he does in the games. They changed that. They changed a few things about how the world works a little bit, but they made so many references to the games. They kept so much of the source material, and paid homage to it. They didn't stray away and say, "Hey, we don't want you to like this stuff anymore. We want you to like
Mm-hmm.
this stuff instead." Because this stuff is what's politically correct or whatever. They didn't do that. They made something to entertain people, even though they changed it slightly. And it wasn't a big change, not anything that would be crazy, but it was still like little small changes, and I still enjoyed it. But I guess not everybody has the same mindset though. And
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to making things for entertaining purposes though? I mean, because nowadays it's not made for that kind of thing anymore. It's always for something else. It's never to just entertain people. But I mean,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, what do we know?
What do we know? But yeah, that's how long has the Little Mermaid been out?
I think since the 26th of May.
Okay. So it's
I think it's made up to 327,000 million at the moment.
got it. Got it. Is that
Yeah, I checked it a little
global
while ago. I think.
or
Oh,
domestic?
hold on. That might have been domestic. No, wait, that was worldwide. Sorry, that was worldwide.
Oh. Yeah, that's not good.
No, I mean it's been out since the 27th of May or 26th of May. You'd think it would have made a little more money than that. But I guess not.
Yeah, the 26th. Oh yeah, so it's had 2 weekends now.
Mm-hmm.
Like finishing up this weekend, it'll have had 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend and this weekend. And yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not. By the way, we have a special guest today. It's Sir AOA.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I do not know what happened. I think I might have just slept through my alarm.
It's okay. It's okay. Completely understandable.
We're talking Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Oh, that fun thing.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, hang on. No, keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, the worst part about all this is that they also talk bad about the people that don't want to watch it, and I think that's wrong. I think that the way I see it is, I mean, if they don't want to watch it for the reasons like they don't like that they race swap the character. I mean, in this case, I'm sort of with them on that. I don't really think they should have, but I'm not going to down the actress because she may do a really good job at portraying Ariel. I haven't watched the movie, but I know the whole movie.
She doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't. Well, well, what really bugs me is the story itself that they have butchered. And not only did they butcher it, but they changed the ending of it to where somehow she's the one on the ship, controlling the ship, and then impaling Ursula with the ship. I think that's dumb. I don't think they should have changed it. I mean, the way I see it is she saved Eric. Eric should have the chance to save her. She shouldn't have to save herself every single time. There's nothing wrong with getting saved by somebody. It doesn't make you a weaker person, but they want to push the empowerment and the not needing a man to give them assistance or anything like that, which, I mean, there are women that don't need men to assist them, and I'm totally for that. There's not an issue with that, because it's good to be independent. You don't need to always depend on somebody, but where the problem lies is it's always that very reason why they don't want the man to save the woman in these new movies and stuff like that, because they're afraid it'll make them look weaker.
That's the thing, is that okay, if you're going to have a movie like that, then how about just in the interest of equity, then do a movie about a man who doesn't need women, and do some strong independent male characters.
Well, see, then
you've got to remember. Hang on, you've got to remember something.
Okay.
If it was going to be an independent male, nothing will happen. The male will just be sitting on his farm or sitting on wherever, living.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the funny thing. Feminists sort of say society was created for men by men. No, society was created by men for women. Do you think men would be doing any of this shit if it wasn't to get laid by women? No. I mean, there is there are videos of and photos of men's apartments when they're not impressing women, and it's sort of like a garden chair, a TV, and a gaming console. Because frankly, that's all that men would need or want. So yeah, no, you know, a strong, independent man would just be someone hunting in a shack. Now, I mean, it might be a real, you know, depending on the man, it might be a really, really fancy looking shack because, you know, they were just bored and they built it. But yeah, no, that's why you don't see the opposite. Because the thing is that doing the adventurous, almost getting yourself killed thing. Yeah, no, that's doing it for the women.
Yeah, it always sort of starts out with them finding a woman they want to impress, so they do all these crazy things to impress them.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry.
What?
Just on behalf of women, I'm sorry you all have to go.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We're not angry at you. We're not.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I'm. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's just sort of a case of, you know, that's how human psychology actually works. And it's just one of the, yeah, and the thing is that you got to remember one thing. Men are kind of happy to do it.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's just sort of one of those things of, you know, as long as the pay is good and there, men are quite happy to do it. And yes, I am referring to that as payment.
Oh.
As long as the pay is good and there. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, funny enough, that's probably what the biggest problem with society at the moment is. The pay isn't there.
But now that you've joined Surrey Way, I got to ask you a question. So
Yep.
I still, and I'm going to be completely honest. I still haven't watched Star Wars Visions. Have you?
Oh God, I forgot that it was even out.
Never mind then. That's well. So I still haven't watched it. I've not been interested enough to watch it, unfortunately. I've just been having a hard time with it, you know? And that's why I also didn't review the last few episodes of Mando, and I don't probably plan on reviewing the Star Wars Visions, at least not yet, because like I've just lost all interest in doing so. So it's not even because you know, I'm like holding something against Lucasfilm or something like that. I'm not, but the problem is they've lost my interest.
That's dangerous for them.
Yep.
It really is, and especially right now of all times, to lose people's interest, it's not a good idea. And I'm just wondering what where are you at on that? Because like with the state of Disney now, this is what the whole stream was really about, was just the state of Disney. But like, what do you think will happen if everybody just starts losing interest? I mean, because they're already well on their way towards that. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Hang on 5 seconds.
Okay,
Just 5 seconds.
just 5 seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1. Do I need to add this right here? I assume I need it. Nope.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulty.
Ah.
Because I originally got on my phone, and my phone's about to die
Oh.
because I wasn't exactly going
Oh,
to
dang.
get everything set up if I was, and I was hoping to do it seamlessly, but it's not working. And, okay, you can switch me over.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, good. Sorry, what was the question again?
Where are you at with like your interest level on upcoming Lucasfilm related projects and stuff like that? And that also includes the new Indiana Jones, which you can also give your opinion on if you want to, from what you've heard or something like that. But
Let's to put it really, really simply, grabbing some popcorn and watching the fire.
watching the
Yep.
fire.
Yep.
That is pretty much my my view on Lucasfilm. Now, did you see the video from I can't remember if it was from Overlord. Who
I've
was
seen
it
so
from?
many videos I probably couldn't remember.
Was it a really recent one?
Yeah. Oh, well. It would have been a very recent one if we streamed last week.
Oh, I gotcha.
Wait, hang on a second. Is it the one that I had on Discord? Maybe it was. I don't know. Hang on.
I think I watched that video that you put in Discord, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Speaking of, we have a Discord, by the way. Quick plug. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, it wasn't that one.
Oh, wasn't that one?
My apologies. Yeah, the reason I sort of bring it up, and mainly because that video kind of had half of it, but the other half was kind of from another video. And yeah, it was Overlord because it was a stream he did with Cameron Pasha.
Mm-hmm.
And those are always interesting because it's definitely sort of behind the curtain type of situation. And I take it, Commander Tano, I take it you didn't see it?
Probably not.
Okay, well, pretty much, according to Cameron Pasha and I think a few others, Favreau isn't out. He isn't over it. And Filoni is essentially playing both sides.
Mm.
which, if according to Cameron Pasha and according to, because he's met the guy, talked, and, wouldn't say friends, but, acquaintance. And the thing is that, when it comes to Filoni, he's very much a sort of, won't, I'm not saying this in sort of like the deviousness type of ways, but he will play whatever card.
He won't rock
he's
the
very.
boat.
Pardon?
Kind of like he'll do what he needs to stay in his job.
No.
Or not.
He will do whatever he needs to get to his goals. So he will play the field. That's probably a better way of putting it. And the thing is that if you kind of look at the field, you have Empress Kennedy. But the thing is that, she might have a large swath of the battlefield, but she's not going to be around for a little while longer. She's in her 70s.
Yeah, she's not living forever.
Yeah. So the thing is that, the best play for Favreau, for Filoni, if he wants to become the, director, because, according to Cameron, he's being viewed as the animation guy, and when you're viewed as the animation guy, that's it. You're only going to be viewed as that. So you're not going to get, live action film, film projects when you're viewed as the animation guy.
Yeah.
So the thing is that he's playing his cards with, Kennedy, while working with Favreau, essentially.
Got it.
Because the thing is that, in the battlefield of Lucasfilm, Kennedy's the biggest player. When you're talking about the rest of Hollywood and all the other studios and anything like that, well, with how much guns trying to get Favreau to come over to DC, which train to hook your carriage up to is better.
Yep.
And the answer is Favreau. So after hearing all of that, and the simple fact that, Favreau has kind of just, had all the doors of Lucasfilm just opened up, and he can just walk through wherever, according to the rumors. It's, I guess I'm guessing I'm not calling the time of death on me wanting to view Star Wars. But at the exact same time, I'm not eager to watch it either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be up at 4 a.m. to watch um to do a watch stream or anything like that. Nah, just though I'm still willing to do that drunken stream.
Yeah.
I'm still willing to do that drunken stream.
Young Jedi Adventures is the one project, the one thing that brings excitement for me.
Yeah, for all of the wrong reasons. But hey, no, but I mean that's probably the only project that I've kind of wanted to watch and um, not for the right reasons. Yeah, you want to be excited because you want to see how it is, and when it comes to the Young Jedi Adventures, I kind of want to see it
It's
to see if it's a trash fire or not.
what's so strange to me about that project is how they kind of market it as like, oh, now we finally have Star Wars for kids. And it's like, no, no, you already had Star Wars for kids.
It's called Star
It,
Wars.
yeah, it's so weird to me that they feel that oh, like we need to do anything beyond that, and people could say like, oh, what's wrong with that? It's still Star Wars or whatever. It's like, I'm sorry, but there's certain. I do think with certain franchises or films that, if
You
you
don't need to
make
dumb them down.
yeah, if you make the content too juvenile, then it ceases being what it was. Like,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
can't, I'm sorry, you can't have a for kids for every franchise. Like, you can't, like, do, like,
Teen Titans Go.
yeah, yeah, or just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so weird to me. Like, just, what is it that they feel that that there is about the existing shows and movies that they feel that they don't have yet for kids? It's like,
Well, I mean,
if
the thing is that a lot of the moves that George Lucas did in the prequels were for kids, aka Jar Jar Binks. Oh, sorry, Darth Jar Jar Binks.
yes,
Um. So yeah, it's weird to sort of create.
and I do understand, like, yeah, with the prequel movies, yes, you have Jar Jar Binks, but on the flip side, you have some of the dialogue and the situations described might fly over kids' heads. Like, what's the deal with Trade Federation and the politics stuff? I can understand how maybe the kid might not understand that. But that said, okay, if
There's enough blingy lights and lasers and shooting and swords and all that to keep kids entertained.
yeah. And the other thing is, if all else fails, if you want to introduce kids to the prequel era and kind of have it be a more slow, gradual kind of introducing them to that era. Like, there's the Clone Wars, and it's particular, and it takes its time. And granted, there's obviously, you see so many of these video montages, Clone Wars is for kids. There's obviously a lot of, there's plenty of violent content in there that depending on the age of the kid, you might want to, just skip. But in terms of
I mean,
its in terms of its simplicity, kind of the more of the simplicity of the storytelling, and it's not doing it trying to cram kind of, okay, we're going to explain the whole kind of political unfolding of this war in 3 movies, taking a lot more time with it. That's an option too. You know, to me, like in terms of like, I feel like Star Wars Rebels is kind of the juvenile limit. If you make it more juvenile than that, it's just like no. Like
Yeah, if you make it more juvenile than that, you get the Resistance.
yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that's a show that we haven't reviewed.
You'd have to actually pay me to do that. I'm not even doing that.
That would have to be another drunk stream, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ugh. Oh dear. Yeah, I
But
forgot
so-
that thing existed.
Yeah, funny that. But I mean, the thing is that yeah. I mean, how young do you really need to go?
You don't.
And I mean, if you're talking about 5-year-olds, 5-year-olds are smarter than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you've been around, hell, 2-year-olds are smarter than you think.
Yep.
Yep.
So the whole oh wait, hang on a second. I'm talking about Australian 2-year-olds, not American 2-year-olds. Yeah, sorry. Just
fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll just end my statement. No. But I mean, the thing is that when you're looking at Jedi Adventures, you're almost looking at like Wiggles level of storytelling.
Yes.
And the thing is that that is for like just 2-year-old level entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything above that, they're smart enough to watch, and sit there for the entire time, more impressive movies.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, when you're talking about Wiggles level entertainment, you're talking about almost the non-verbals. The
Yeah.
kids that haven't achieved that level of cognition yet.
Yeah.
But if they're having conversations to you, yeah, they've passed Jedi Adventures. And there's probably going to be I don't think even 20 years from now there will be people going, oh, I remember when I sat down with Jedi Adventures and that was my entrance into Star Wars. No, because by the time they've got that cognition, they're wanting something a little bit more meatier than that.
Yes. Yep.
So I mean, I still kind of want to watch it because I mean, I want to see who is it for. It's sort of one of those.
Oh yes.
It's sort of, it's just sort of one of those items where you sort of go, someone's watching it, but not for this reason, and I want to know why. Or someone created this, but not for the reason of viewing.
I will also admit another show, and once again, I'm not going to watch it except through YouTube clips or other ethical means.
Loss
Um,
or loss of sobriety.
yes. I'm sickly curious because of all the kind of the crazy that's gone behind the scenes with it. The Acolyte. It just sounds like it's gonna be so bad that it'll be good.
Absolutely. It is going to be. I mean, the thing is that you just have to listen to the actors that are in it.
Yep.
With a lot of what they say. There's oh God, I can't remember the quote. It's been so long. We've never seen good or bad, or oh no, sorry, Star Wars isn't good or evil. Uh-huh. What?
Yeah.
Or Star Wars is very patriarchal. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Sisters of Dathomir would like to have a conversation with that actress.
Yeah.
Or maybe Queen Amidala. Or Mon Mothma, or Princess Leia, or all these women that are either leaders or leading governments or lead intergalactic governments.
Yep.
uh, um. So yeah, no, it's definitely um not written by or written for or performed with fans. And I don't care how many shirts they wear saying otherwise. So in and I really haven't seen any show that's had that level of well, except for maybe The Witcher, but that level of disrespect to the source and not succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why I think season 4 of The Witch is going to fail miserably. Um, because their only lifeline to keeping that going left.
Yeah. It's. I know nothing about. I know nothing about The Witcher, but I just except from just following the whole Henry Cavill situation. That's just hilarious. Like,
Well, well. I mean, the thing is that uh, the one of the lead actresses sort of came out. Oh, it's so exciting! We sort of uh based the character's use of magic around an Indian dance
Huh?
in a Polish folklore story.
yeah,
Um,
Oh, okay.
some issues there.
Yeah.
and they wonder why the fans are sort of um all coming out of the woodworks to rag on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's funny how that came out and that got introduced after Henry Cavill left.
Yep.
But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that that's kind of what I see with the Alkalite.
Yeah.
You kind of see the same things, and same things with Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, it's so great that we've got strong women like that woman. I can't remember her name because, frankly, I'm not really a Lord of the Rings fan. Um, who's like, who essentially stabs the king of the wraiths and has that great line of "I'm no man, stab."
Oh, Eowyn, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, no. Jeez. Yeah, no strong independent warrior women. And all of the Tolkien fans are just sort of like going, do you want the short list or the long list? No, we have to make Gadriel elf that was pretty much a powerful magic user. No, we have to make her a warrior woman.
She wasn't powerful enough.
No,
Nope.
no, it has to be a battle mage. Just without the mage part. Okay. And you guys have a Tolkien scholar on staff?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's meant to be Star Wars scholars on staff at Lucasfilm, and that hasn't helped.
Nope.
Yeah, not exactly.
Nope.
But I just don't understand all the stuff that's sort of going into shows these days. Because the thing is that any competent group of writers from 20 years ago would not have written anything Disney's written.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because they would not have written the New Republic to be so completely and utterly politically and bureaucratically incompetent as what's been written in Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
I agree.
And yes, this is my fortnightly / monthly / whenever we stream reminder to fire Pablo Hidalgo.
Or whenever we stream.
Not because of cancel culture, but because he's incompetent at his job.
It's consequence culture.
Exactly.
Consequence.
I mean, the thing is that one of the main reasons they got rid of the EU and put it into Legends is because, it was convoluted and plot holes and stupid stuff. And what do they replace it with? Well,
Convoluted
I would say
plot holes, stupid stuff.
I would say plot holes. But I don't think plot black holes are just holes.
Yeah.
Because just the more that gets written, the more that gets shown, the more that gets shown on TV. If it is not written by Jon Favreau, there'd be stupid levels of plot holes. That actually, I don't think Filoni's made too many lore mistakes.
Yeah.
He's definitely stretched them, but not got the portal gun and just went crazy with making holes. Because I mean, my favorite one is Darth Vader going to Exegol and seeing all of those ships and sort of after the Jedi returns, not going to Luke and sort of going, yeah, there's this planet called Exegol. This is how you get there. And there are more ships than I know what to do with.
Yeah, that would have been a nice thing to hint at.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Just absolutely. And actually, I gotta admit, it would have just been a simple thing of, not having Vader rock up and see the ships. Maybe this was something kept in secret, even from him.
Mm-hmm.
Which
that would work too.
Oh yeah, it would still tear open a plot hole, but it would work a lot better than having Darth Vader sort of not go to his son, going, yeah, there's an entire navy that have planet killing lasers on them.
Yep.
On this planet, yeah, don't worry about it.
Just an entire navy of planet-killing lasers.
The more I talk about it, the more I just sort of want to just retcon the sequel. Because I mean, the thing is that the laser was meant to be needed so much power that you would need a battle station. So, in other words, the ships are either just floating fusion generators, or the writers are idiots.
I'm going for the latter.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I agree.
So hang on, when is Indy 5 coming out?
Oh
I
dear.
think June 30th.
June 30th. Because I mean, with all the talk of how this will probably end Kathleen Kennedy, I'm kind of wanting to see it.
And here's the thing.
Not the movie.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
thinking to myself, like, hold on a second.
If that doesn't end her, that's going to be the beginning of the end for Iger. Because at some point,
it
shareholders are going to get sick of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Hang on. Commander Tano.
Yes.
You're assuming that Iger's going to be there at that date.
True, I'm assuming.
Because I mean, with all the layoffs and all the dumping of stuff from Disney Plus, not into, out of Disney Plus.
That's actually, so that brings up a good question. With all the selling off, laying off, firing, all the getting rid of people and stuff from the various studios under the Disney umbrella, I'm trying to think, okay, how are investors going to look at this? Because I get, on the one hand, them being alarmed by that. But on the other hand, I do get that what Iger's trying to do is to show, he's basically kind of making a show and be like, hey, see, we're being fiscally conservative. Look, we're tightening the belt. We're cutting costs here and there. This is all setting us up for a good financially sound future, whatever,
I don't think it's so much.
And they do
You
have
know,
the purchase of Hulu they have to deal with, so I do recognize there's that
yeah.
looming over them. That's
I don't think it's so much. We're being financially responsible. I think it's just sort of a big case of clearing out the crap. Because the thing is that you've got to remember, where did the first few thousand of people get fired from? DEI departments.
true. I guess I'm still cynical and
The
thinking
the absolute crap got torn out of them. Which I don't know why you would want to get rid of your destruction, exploitation, and infiltration department. But hey, here we are.
here we are.
So I mean, the thing is that all of the people that are kind of being removed are kind of sort of like the problem people. So I think that's probably more of the stuff that sort of I think that's sort of the target of
there's.
of the
I feel bad. I
taking out.
just now looked at this. Hi, Chrono. It's all cool to act like it's coming to save Star Wars from the patriarchy with these.
Yeah, pass.
Oh dear.
Good old Chrono, my minority friend.
Yeah, why isn't he in the stream?
I don't know. Maybe he's not
Maybe
feeling
he's
too
sick.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd all been. Well, I know a few of us that's been pretty sick lately.
We're just we know Commander Tano is not going to get sick because she'll just use her Mary Sue powers.
I wish I had him a couple weeks ago. I had the mother of all sinus infections, and it's kind of like an annual tradition for me at this rate. And I'm still kind of sounding a little from it.
How? Oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be just a thing, viruses just rocking up and just absolutely smashing you for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Instead of just a couple of days.
Yep.
But did any of you guys catch Willow before it got yeeted off Disney Plus?
Nope.
I haven't even seen the original.
Oh, okay.
But I've heard all kinds of things.
Yeah. I have seen the original, but it was so long ago that I can't remember any of it.
Fair.
But I do remember watching it. I just can't remember. But
fair enough.
Yeah, no. Willow had definitely been Star Warsified, with the character Willow being Luke Skywalker.
Of course.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the actor even went, "Oh, for the character, I looked at the sequel Luke Skywalker." It's like, oh, that was like the worst thing you could have said. That was.
You've already told everyone all they need to know.
Oh yeah, yep, complete miss. At that point, if anyone had any desire to watch this show,
Mm-hmm.
it was gone at that point.
Yeah.
And I've got to rewatch the movie because I'm just sort of sitting there going, was it really something that that needed a sequel TV show?
Probably not. As with many
Especially
things.
when you couldn't get one of the main characters back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and this time it wasn't because they died.
Huh.
It's all about ESG. As long as they need the score for the credit lines, they will keep producing crap, even if they lose money. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They will. They always will.
But
And
the
I
thing
just don't
is,
understand that.
but I mean, the thing is that this isn't marketing. This isn't. You just need to create a 30-second thing to get the message, to get the ESG message across, and you're done. You can do that over a larger period with TV shows and movies. And the thing is that you could easily create an ESG positive, was it ESG? Whatever the crap stupid credit score thing is. You can do that as well as create a good story.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
That is
just
very
not
true.
bothering with the good story part.
Nope.
They're just trying to get the movie down, the movie to bend over and just ram as much ESG up the backside as possible.
Yep.
So it sort of gets to the point of course you're creating crap.
Yeah.
Crap in, crap out.
Yep.
Well, I honestly don't know what else to say right now because, I mean, that we went over practically everything there was to go over at the moment.
Oh,
There'll probably be more. Like, there's
did,
so
did
much
I did I
happening.
really not miss? Did I really not miss that much?
I mean, no, you didn't really miss a whole lot. We sort of,
I think
I
the
mean, we
Pixar stuff's probably the only stuff you missed.
yeah, that's about
Oh,
all you missed.
what?
Was the Pixar thing
What's that?
where they
Pixar
laid off a
firings.
bunch. Yeah,
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't get any details.
What I was saying to Shade earlier is what's interesting about the Pixar firings is this doesn't seem like just a generic, oh, we're just cutting costs kind of firings where someone looks at a spreadsheet and just sees, okay, this person's getting this salary, this person's getting that salary. We can do without this, and this person and save X number of dollars doing that. This seemed more targeted towards kind of the Lightyear people.
So, in other words, more DEI firings.
Basically, yeah. It seems like the firings here just display events kind of more knowledge from whoever decided to have the firings happen, more knowledge of why Pixar was, you know, doing poorly.
Targeted.
Because that's the biggest issue is that you have. I'm not so certain that Iger has the self awareness, like to understand why Disney isn't doing well.
Well, it's not that hard because I mean, they
Oh, I know
just
it's not that hard.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
because
not hard at all.
yeah,
But
they just crammed them full of people that didn't give a shit about the material and just wanted to send out the message.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
We really, I think the entire internet needs to thank the Drunken Chaser for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, the Chrono says the rumor is they are setting the stage for to merge Pixar with Disney Animation, and that's part of why
Yep.
they are firing people.
Yep.
They've wanted to acquire Pixar like that for a long time, so it wouldn't surprise me.
No,
It really wouldn't.
But yeah, that would be really weird to like just no longer have Pixar movies. That'd be so weird. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
See, the thing is, though, I don't. If they do merge them with Disney Animation, I just wonder, will they still keep the Pixar name and all that stuff? Will they just change Disney Animation into Pixar itself and just own Pixar? Like, what would they do?
I don't think so. And like they're never going to kind of get they're never going to have the Disney name be subservient, kind of to any of the
Mm-hmm.
other studios that it's acquired. Also, it's Pixar kind of occupied like a weird niche, like in Disney's animation's history, because there was a time kind of after the Disney Renaissance, kind of where Disney wasn't really doing a whole lot of good stuff, at least in my view. But Pixar was kind of picking up the slack. And like there's that time, like I mentioned, where you had Ratatouille, Wally, Up, Toy Story 3. Like to me, it was like
Yep.
this stretch of like my four favorite Pixar films. And year after year, you didn't, you know, but obviously prior to that they had great films too, the Toy Story franchise, all of that. But so they kind of filled this niche where Disney wasn't doing much that really was grabbing people. Pixar was. And so Pixar had kind of that brand recognition of, oh, this is where, if you want kind of the quality endearing stories, you go watch Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since then, I think Disney kind of got into a little bit of a period where they got better. Like, when they did, I enjoyed Princess and the Frog when they did Tangled. Like that's probably one of my favorite Disney movies. And it's surprising to me because that is not from the 90s. But that was a really good one in my view. So they
Mm-hmm.
figured out how that they could still do good stories. And sometime after that, when Disney was making a lot of money with their own animated features again, Pixar kind of lost that kind of niche advantage that it had. And also, I think at the same time, so I don't know, you had people who decided, let's make a Toy Story 4, and so, like, and other poor decisions. And so it's like it doesn't really have that brand respect that it had maybe like, you know, early 2000s. So it's kind of like, what's the
Yeah.
point of it being around? And it's hard to distinguish. It's getting harder to distinguish Pixar stuff from just Disney animation stuff.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a
in part
difference.
yeah, that's in part a reason why I kind of wish Disney would go back to 2D stuff. That obviously they'd have to do more than that to distinguish themselves from Pixar, but that would help. I like 2D animation, you know. Yeah, and there are a lot of 3D animated films that I like, but I like 2D animation. It can do both styles can do things that the other can't.
Oh, Chronos says Pixar died when they fired Lasseter. I agree with that, by the way. They are just a regular animation studio now. What made them special went away with him and all the people who followed him. I agree with
When did
that.
they
Pretty much.
fire him? When was that?
Oh, it's been a while.
It has been a while. I remember he got Me Too. I can't remember when.
I'm
Can you
seeing
bring
if
up that
I can
comment
find it
again,
here.
Shade?
Yeah,
There you go.
this one.
Yep, that's it. Should have just actually just gone into chat. Didn't think about that.
Ah, I'm not finding anything on it.
That's actually something that kind of gets me about seeing people react to the latest round of Pixar firings. How they're like, "Oh, such and such person was there, you know, from the beginning," or you know, they'll be like, "Oh, some of these are long time, you know, people," and oh my, what will Pixar do? It's like there was no. It's like
June 2018.
2018.
2018. Wow.
2018.
It's like that was both so recent, but also feels so long ago. 5 years.
Oh, he's fired for hugging people.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense. That
Well,
makes so much sense.
you know, put that in quotation marks.
Yeah, but
And evidence?
was it real though? Like, what was that really? What happened? Like, did he actually do something, or was it just false accusations, or like what was it? You know?
Well, here's a comment in just an article. Turned out the chief creative officer of Walt Disney Animation and Pixar had a long history of misogynic and toxic behavior before his mostly female employees. And by the following year, the company ousted him for his role under the guise of a resignation. And thanks to Me Too, you've got to all put that in air quotes.
It's trust me, bro. That's
Yeah,
what he was
trust me.
fired based on. Yeah.
Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Yeah, there you go.
Now, you know, to be fair, those comments could be true,
They could.
Maybe.
but they could also be a whole lot of crap.
And the problem is that if say you just want to get rid of someone in your studio because creative differences or just other political reasons, whatever reasons, Me Too gave an easy way where you could just get rid of someone. You just
Yeah.
find some accusations of improper hugging or whatever, and
Yep.
they're gone.
There we go. Chrono's come in with the info.
Yeah, Chrono for the win here.
No, hugs are pervy when a man does it.
Always.
and an older
Oh.
man too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
It like doubles the Perth rating. Even when the old man is the grandfather and the person he's hugging is his granddaughter. Perth.
That's terrible.
Fire him.
Yep. Oh my.
It's just a really weird feeling sort of sitting here discussing this. You kind of wanting to be excited that, maybe they're getting rid of all of the stuff that's going, all the rot,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also
Maybe.
sitting there going, but is it going to really change that much?
No.
That's where you kind of need to root for. You need kind of complete catastrophe with all of their studios, and we could be getting to that. The one thing this year that they may be able to point to, and I haven't been keeping track of what it's been making. The one thing that Disney may be able to point to this year that they might be, not they might not lose money on, although I don't know, is Guardians 3. That's it.
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah.
It was Guardians 3 was the biggest earning Marvel movie this year.
That's not difficult.
No.
Yeah.
Granted. But that's sad that they can only point to that movie. And the thing is, they're not getting another one. They might try. Granted, they're probably thinking about that, but they're not. Presumably, they're not getting another one. That's not. They've got to. They've got to rely on the things that aren't making the money right now. But yeah, Pixar's not going to deliver this year. Like Elemental, no, it's not going to. I don't see that making money.
Nope.
No.
Um,
I don't either.
And I don't see Indy 5 making money.
yeah, they they've
Um,
put themselves in a situation where it's impossible.
Pretty much.
Between how much they've spent and wasted with reshoots and backtracking, trying to fix this up.
And scrapbooking.
Yep. To to the to the fact that now this movie, this movie's now being released in a time where people have access. If they want to spoil the film for themselves in advance, they can. And that's actually something that's affecting Disney and studios generally. And they have to factor in. People can now spoil movies for themselves. There's no advantage of, oh, you have to pay to see this thing to see how it ends. Nope.
Nope, they can just go on Wikipedia and just read the plot.
Yep. In the case of a very leaky studio like Lucasfilm, you can often know the plot, the complete
By
plot.
reading 4chan.
Yes. Yes. So there's that disadvantage that it has, and people are like, okay, this looks depressing, not worth my time. There's the fact too that this movie's going to be kind of, it's going to have less than 2 weeks to run before it's crowded out by Mission Impossible, which will take some of its theaters away, and so it's just not, both terms of the amount spent, when it's scheduled, and the word of mouth, which is not good, including for critics, for the class of people who this movie is supposedly written for, that they're not even into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Soraya just died.
Oh.
Dang it. And the reason Guardians was successful is because Gunn did his thing, which works, unlike those other projects more concerned with checking boxes than telling stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like
Yeah.
Guardians 3. I did like it.
It was.
I haven't seen it.
I actually haven't seen it, but I do
No.
think it was a victim of its marketing. It probably would have made even more
It probably would have,
if they'd
honestly.
made some better decisions with the marketing with that.
And not and not did what they did to Nebula.
Yeah, I put that under. I filed that under marketing.
Washboard Nebula. That's it.
Because I don't think she was like that in the actual movie.
No.
They marketed it
Oh, in
like that, but in the actual movie, I wasn't paying so much attention, I guess, but like, I don't really think she was like that in the movie. But then again, I'd have to rewatch it again to know for sure. The spoiling thing is why they were trying to force Reddit to reveal the user who leaked the Ant-Man plot.
Oh yeah.
See,
Oh,
see,
yeah.
see. That's why you should leak on 4chan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is that companies could bring the full force of every legal everything, and 4chan would just sit there and laugh at them.
Yep.
That's true.
We'll sue you into oblivion. We'll hack you. We'll hack you and wipe off your entire computer servers. Just
Yep.
try us.
On second thought.
Yeah. If the rest of the world can be thankful to Tumblr for one thing, it's the knowledge that you just do not attack 4chan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you want 2 weeks of gore posted to your social media or your or your streaming services.
That's a choice.
That is definitely a choice. See, Reddit, I could see giving up the deets. If things got too, if the pressure was ratcheted up too much,
Right.
4chan wouldn't give a crap, and possibly wouldn't be able to give the details anyway. So
yeah, I was gonna say,
tough luck.
Even if they wanted to, I don't think they could. I mean, theoretically, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's almost getting to the point where the best option is not to prevent leaks, but to just make sure that your production is above board. So there's nothing leak worthy.
Yeah, make sure that whatever you produce, it's something that you would be proud to have leaked.
Exactly. And with the way Hollywood is going at the moment, yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Nope.
But I like that. That's a good new metric. Don't produce something that you wouldn't want leaked.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how it's like, honestly, leakers are probably more scary
respected than the people producing.
Well, yeah, but also they're probably more feared by the movie industry than pirates.
Yeah, but that's only because piracy is just cheap marketing.
True.
Because the thing is that most people pirate. almost like a demo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they wanna try it out before buying.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing, is that if the product that they pirate is extremely good,
Yeah.
then they will actually spend money on it.
True.
So, and the studios know that. That's why. That's why. That's why. I can't remember who owns what. Um, but there's a lot of studios that actually own um torrenting programs.
Mm.
You're right, Chrono, by the way. Very
Um,
right.
Chrono's
and
always right.
The market is not cutting it after somebody. Yeah. Warner has been leaking stuff to try and convince people to go see the movies because they are failing so hard. They leaked Cavill for Black Adam. Still, no one saw that movie.
yeah, but I mean that wasn't a Cavill problem. That was we're rebooting the entire universe. You know, you kind of say that after the Black Adam movie, not before.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that the
Good
past
idea.
DC movies have kind of not done well, even if they were rated favorably, which I think all of them were. It was just sort of a case of people didn't really know how to take it because they didn't know what was going on. Because
Mm-hmm.
all of the movies seemed like they should be interconnected, but they don't know if they're going to be interconnected. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That'll do it.
pretty much.
All right, then. So I'd say we've probably gotten off our chest whatever we needed to say with this one. Honestly, there's been so much to talk about. It's been a little bit crazy, and there's going to be more to come pretty soon. Once Indiana Jones 5 comes out and maybe possibly fail, um, we may see some changes. Then again, we might not. Who knows? That's sort of the whole point of this stream.
Actually,
It was just to talk about that.
actually,
But
that
yes.
that's that is actually one question that I would sort of like to ask you guys.
Mm.
Okay.
Everything that's happening, and I mean, everything that's sort of happening with Star Wars, everything that's happening with Disney, everything that's happening with Warner, everything that's happening with Target and Bud Light.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the death of ESG?
It very well could be.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think. Yeah.
the thing is that yes, having your credit line is important, but if you've got no customers, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And the
really
thing
low.
that I think has changed, um, what's really interesting and what's kind of what I'm not going to say conservatives because I think anti ESG people is far bigger than that.
Yep.
But I will say what's kind of happened in kind of the general anti ESG movements that's worked. And I think the person who kind of described it correctly is Matt Walsh of all people. And suffice it to say, I do not agree with Matt Walsh on a whole lot of things. But
Yeah, me too.
but I do think he made a good point. He made kind of a good point. He said something to the extent of, instead of boycotting everything that's against you, you should just pick and choose targets and make examples of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of see that, it kind of started, I think Disney was kind of the original, the original kind of target to be made an example of, in a way.
Bud Light was easier.
It was easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney's a little bit more complicated. And Disney, part of Disney kind of did this to itself, kind of in outright trying to kind of interfere in Florida politics and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it is working in that you have kind of one by one different companies being just kind of targeted. Like, yeah, you can't boycott all of the beers. Although for me, it's easy because I don't drink beer. I think it's all vile.
I'm boycotting. I'm gonna take a stand and boycott all beers. Doesn't matter that I can't really drink them, but yeah, I'm gonna boycott.
But Bud Light sounds like a very easy one to boycott. Like,
because it's an American beer.
Yes.
Do you know what Australians called American beer?
Oh dear, what do you call it?
Water.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was going to
or piss water.
I was gonna say like toilet water or something like that.
Yeah.
I was going to actually steal your joke, but I was like, no, he's probably got something more clever than that. Nope, it was just water.
No, but I mean the thing is that, compared to Australian beers and hell, Guinness, it's got absolutely no, in comparison, got no alcohol to it. I think one case of Australian beer will get an Australian quite drunk. I think 2 cases of American beer will get an Australian drunk. Sorry, tipsy. So
just a little tipsy.
Yeah, just a little tipsy. So yeah, it's real easy to boycott Bud Light.
Sounds like it. Yeah, so I think it's kind of worked in that it's just happened that people have been picking off companies one by one, and that's going to make others kind of look, and just be like, well, we don't want to be like Bud Light. Well, we don't want to be like Disney with their stock, kind of touching kind of their lowest like pandemic era level. We don't want that. And they'll kind of quietly decouple from ESG where they can.
Well, if they can.
Yeah.
Because if no company will, it would be kind of sort of interesting, because I mean the thing is that depends on how the companies that give out credit lines, so maybe the banks, I don't know. It depends on sort of how bullish they would be in trying to keep it. Because the thing is that, frankly, if all their customers go under, well, they're not exactly going to get any money. So
no. Another thing I think that they're watching, and it's not just the boycotts, it's where you have individual states saying, no, at the state level, we're not going to, we're not going to involve our money in ESG. Now, flip side, one would argue, well, that's a very insignificant portion of, BlackRock and etc. But the thing is they're looking at what those states are doing, and they're thinking, okay, with how American politics works, At some point, you're going to have, you get swinging from control by one party to control by another. At some point, the pendulum's going to swing in such a way that they do not want to be kind of stuck where they have a federal legislature and executive who are like, yeah, let's do something about ESG. And so it may behoove them, if they're able to kind of try and step away from that if they can, just to prepare for for a potential future. But at least,
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that would it sort of be a case of they'll step away or they'll step to that candidate and just sort of go, yeah, hey, look at all this money.
they might. I will say it is interesting. So at my law firm, and I work at a large firm, and so you get a lot of people. You get people who are experts in everything, and they're always publishing articles and alerts. And that they'll circulate, among the kind of the general mailing list. And I've seen so many kind of just urging caution with ESG and pointing out, its future may not be bright.
Yeah.
No, because it's a concept that would never work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's dictating from upon high what the public should be doing. It's modern day monarchy, and the public, they might not realize it, but they know, they might not sort of notice it, but subconsciously they notice it and will reject it quite vehemently in with great vigor. Hence why Bud Light's trying to sell cases of beer for $5. Sorry, how much is cases of beer over in the States?
It really depends on. Let me try to look up a price real quick, because there's so
Shay,
many
you're a
different
retail expert here.
retail expert.
Because I mean the thing is that if a case of beer was sold for $5 in Australia, the store would be inundated by people, and you would have no, actually you wouldn't be having people fight over it like toilet paper. But I mean, that store. Well, sorry, hang on. Let me amend the situation. If a well-known beer was selling a case for $5, that store better have a giant supply of it, because it would be gone in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Before I tell you the price that I found, when I heard at my law firm, I thought that takeover was fast. And I remembered you were a Mary Sue, so it made sense. I didn't think about it like that. Sorry, I didn't think about it like that. But when you said that, now it just makes it sound like you did take it over. But anyways, now as far as cases of beer, depending on the brand, the amount that you're getting, or if they're in glass bottles or not. Like let's take Busch Light for instance, 23.48 for a 30 pack.
Jeez, and Bud Light's going for $5. We'll
Yeah.
say $6.99.
Coors Light 25.98 for 30 cans. If you want like the 12-ounce glass bottles of Corona Extra, 16.48. These are the prices at the store that I work at. So
So sorry, hang on. Did you say Corona at how much?
Corona Extra, it was 16.48 for 12 pack of 12-ounce glass bottles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, no, that's sorry, it was just
Natural
sort
Light
of
20.98, Budweiser 25.98. You know, I got
you know,
so many different prices.
if a case of Corona was at that price in Australia, yet again, the store better have a large supply. Because yeah, no, Corona ain't cheap here.
Let's see.
Huh.
Well, I think we might as well just wrap it up for the night. To be honest,
Yep.
this has been less of a Star Wars topics episode and more of just us chilling and talking about
Just topics.
about stuff. Just topics.
Well,
Maybe I'll
no,
just change the name and everything.
it probably more fitted a sort of like a pop culture rather than Star Wars.
Well, so I've been thinking before we end the stream real quick. I've really been thinking about it because like I've not been interested in anything Disney's been putting out recently. I'm not changing the channel's name or anything like that. But as far as Star Wars topics goes, I think I might just make a separate series at this point and save Star Wars topics for strictly just Star Wars stuff. So until we actually get something
We're
that we're
expanding.
not
Ooh.
necessarily. I mean, sorta. I guess. I mean, because if I mean, especially with like Star Wars not putting out much of anything at the moment. Not only that, but not much of anything worth reviewing right now.
We're following market trends.
Exactly. I'm thinking I should make a separate series just talking about whatever, like just having something else to talk about besides Star Wars. Because clearly, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've not really had the energy to talk about Star Wars at all in this particular thing. I've not really wanted to talk about now. If you get me started on some of the good stuff, like the original movies, like some of the EU, I could do it all night. But with all this stuff that's currently going on, my energy levels just thinking about it all has dropped to nothing. I have no energy to think about it. But there is one little cool tidbit of information I do want to give you guys real quick. So I've mentioned multiple times, and I know Chrono will remember me talking about this once before because I talked to him about it a while back. But we still have those Riva Funkos at Walmart. Okay, we still have them, and now for about a year, and I mean this, for about a year, we've stayed in the 20s. We've not gotten any new ones, and we've barely sold the four of them. We went down from 24, which was like about 6 months ago when I last checked it, to 21. I just checked it the other day. Yeah, so
Wow.
the other Funkos, like the Star Wars ones, they didn't last long. We just got some for like Star Wars Episode 4 characters. I bought one myself, actually. I bought the Luke
Nice.
Skywalker one. Yeah. So I have the New Hope Luke Skywalker, but they had a bunch of like they had Leia and Han and Chewie. We sold those out really quickly. Like I don't think we have any more of those because we didn't get that many of them, and when we did, they're gone. You know, and then here's the Reva one that we cannot get rid of at all. So
Okay, so what's I'm waiting with anticipation about why you're bringing it up now, or is it
because
just that we're still
it's
going
just
by, we're just
it's
still
just a,
checking the
it's
numbers?
yeah, I'm just letting you know I'm still checking to see if we're selling any. I even checked the item history. Not a single one sold in like over the last couple months. So I don't know when those other three got sold, but I know that it's been a very long time since it's happened, and we've not gotten out of the 20s yet with those Revas. So
Hang on. Are you sure they were sold?
Well, I mean, they could have been stolen too. That's also well. No, see, the thing is, I can check how many we have on hand, and I know we had 24 beforehand, and now we're down to 21. So they hadn't been sold because it takes it out of the system that way. Well, no, actually, no, never mind. So if we go through and we, check the on hands ourselves, and if we can't find them, we can change the on hands, So maybe that could have happened too, where we might have realized, okay, we either have more than what we actually do, so we need to fix it, or they've actually been sold. So yeah. So it is a possibility they've been stolen. But even if that's the case, like, even if
That'd
all
be
three
so
of us,
embarrassing to be caught stealing those.
I mean, yeah, first of all, why would you want to steal those? I mean,
Oh,
I guess I would.
easy, because you would feel bad destroying any of the other ones.
Well, that's true. Also, don't worry about the Reva Funkos. They will soon get company with the Bailey ones. I don't think anybody will buy those Funkos either. And
Well,
I mean,
that's assuming that Funko Pops survive long enough to create
well, yeah,
Black Ariel.
well, yeah, true.
Hmm.
Commander Tono gets to pick the name of that series and topics since she is the salesman. Okay, so Chrono says you have to choose the name of my next video series or stream series or whatever. So
Oh, it's just gonna be topics.
just topics.
Just topics.
Just topics.
I think that's what that actually that is a great idea.
That's perfect.
That is perfect. That is. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it that. So if we ain't doing a Star Wars episode, we're doing just topics. I like that. Great idea. Dang it.
So now we've got Star Wars topics. We've got
And
chill
just
streams and just topics.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I really
Jeez,
do.
now we've got energy in the stream.
Yes, energy, boys. It came about 2 hours and 30 minutes too late, though. But that's okay. It's just been, look, for me, it's been a bit of a rough week, so I've just had no energy at all. Maybe once I start like streaming more consistently, I'll keep that energy going. Because that's energized me now, coming up with such a good name for that. I'm glad you guys were here to help me with that. Great
No
idea,
worries.
Chrono. I'm glad you said something. Now we got the name for it.
It was a team effort.
It was a team effort. It was a team effort. It was a great team effort. I appreciate that. Because I was thinking about it a little, like this whole stream, like I don't really know if we can call this Star Wars topics if I'm not going to be talking Star Wars. And I mean, that's why I sort of called it the State of Disney, because it was originally called the State of Lucasfilm on this one. But we talked more about Disney because, they're all.
You can't talk about Lucasfilm without talking about Disney.
Yeah.
And then we sort of talked more about everything that was Disney and less Star Wars. So I felt like this episode of Star Wars Topics isn't really an episode of Star Wars Topics. But I think until we get maybe the Ahsoka show or something like that, I may just put a hold on the Star Wars Topics series until then, unless we got a good topic about Star Wars to talk about, which, I can do.
Well, we still haven't finished the rewrite.
The what?
We still haven't finished the rewrite.
The rewrite. Oh, yeah. I forgot where we were at on that. Where were we at on that?
Oh, we barely did episode 7. We were like halfway through rewriting episode 7.
Oh gosh.
I think we spent 3 hours on
We
it.
did.
barely-
We did. Oh no.
It was an ultra long
Well,
stream, and we barely finished episode 7 because we just kept on. We kept on having ideas that were far better than
dang it, I'm gonna
anything.
have to go rewatch that stream and like catch back up on the ideas that we had.
Yes.
Oh no, that's a long watch.
Well,
Really
long
long.
listen.
Or well, yeah, a long listen. Which I mean, that's good though. That's good. I like listening to things anyway. It's fun. Uh, see, the thing is, Chrono. I mentioned this. I don't have any interest for anything past the Ahsoka series at this point, but I think we'll do it just because. And
Because
it
it's
won't be
fun
because I'm
watching
interested.
trash fires.
I'm expecting it to be a trash fire at this point. I've
No,
always been
no,
the
no,
positive one.
don't. There is no expecting. It is.
Well, yeah, I mean you're right. You're right. So from this point on, like, I mean, I guess it is going to be just trash fire until we get like actual new management and a big change with the internals of Lucasfilm and Disney, which could take years. Even if we got new management, that don't mean anything. It's just like my store. We just lost our store lead. That was he's under the store manager. We just lost him. Okay, and everybody is afraid that we may get somebody that isn't as good or maybe worse, or I'm not going to talk about the guy that was there because like, I've had my issues with him, but for the most part at the very end, he was there ever since I've been there. He was actually there a few years before I got there, but ever since I've worked with him, I had a lot of hard times with him at first, but over the last year, I've started to, we've actually started getting along and stuff like that. So I started liking him a bit, and now he's going away. And I had already said this about our previous store manager that was over. Like, I was so glad she was gone. I didn't like her at all. She was not that great. But then we get somebody else that's worse. So I've experienced this firsthand, where you can lose somebody that you feel like is causing you issues, and then somebody else worse comes in, and they
Yeah,
cause even more issues.
but can you really get worse than Kathleen Kennedy?
Maybe. You never know. You never know until it happens.
Because I mean,
Yes, Chrono.
the level of destruction
Yes, Chrono.
is pretty much total.
Well,
I don't think you could.
it would be hard to top her level of destruction, but I mean, trust me, if there's a will, there's a way, and somebody will find a way to destroy it even further if they really wanted to. Like,
Okay.
they can legit go in and say, "Hey, we want to remake the original movies," and then cast all these people, race swap the entire cast, maybe
Oh,
change
yeah,
their
sorry.
character fundamentally. They haven't done that yet, not with Star Wars, but it wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me if they
but
did.
no, sorry, hang on. I think even Bob Iger would be sort of like going, no, no,
You may be
no,
right. You
no.
may be right. I'm just saying.
Because I
If
mean, it's sort of one of those sort of situations of, with the sequel trilogy, it was just like, oh yeah, no, I could see how this was probably going to be good and all that. No, there is just absolutely no way you would be able to touch the originals.
Oh
Now,
yeah, it would ruin them.
if the sequel trilogy didn't exist, oh sorry, the sequel trilogy wasn't bad, I would have probably said that there would be no way you could touch the originals for at least 10 years. With the sequel trilogies and with bloody Kenobi and all the crap they've done, I wouldn't have anyone touch the originals for 30 years.
Yeah. So we're
Because
probably going to be pretty old before things actually start looking up. And that's sad.
No, I mean, the thing is that, well, sorry. What I'm sort of getting at is that you wouldn't be allowed to reboot them. Or especially reimagine them.
Well, yeah, no, I got that. I'm just saying that, like, if they were to do something like that, it'd be a long time before we'd actually get anything that might possibly be worth anything. That's if they did it right.
Yeah, which no one would believe that they would do it right. So
they'd have to give us something good beforehand.
Oh
something
no, not something. A
few
whole lot.
Yes, a whole lot. Like more Mandalorian season 2 finales.
Yes.
If we had more of that, I'm sure that the goodwill that the fans that are still hanging around, that were holding on to goodwill, I'm sure all that would amount to something if they tried to appeal to the people that actually mattered.
Yep.
But that's the problem. They don't. But anyways, I think that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. It's been a while since we streamed, so it's been very nice to have you guys. Even though Chrono wasn't in the stream itself, he was here in the comments and in spirit. So thank you, Chrono, for also showing up. Hold on, one last thing. We are going to be like old, depressed Obi-Wan by the time we get back
God,
to doing good stuff.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I hope not.
I'll be too drunk and happy about being drunk to be Kenobi.
I guess you'll be that. I'll just be the depressed one looking at it, be like, I remember when things were good entertainment. Now all we got is this, and then I just hold up the Last Jedi in my hand.
The Last Jedi extended version with new.
Oh god.
With new special effects.
Special edition version.
Not gonna lie, the special effects were sort of good in that movie, but everything else was just a dump. That's it. I'm not. I'll give credit where credit's due. The cinematography.
It definitely looked pretty. Absolutely.
It did. I can say at least one good thing about that movie, and that's it.
And that is it.
That is it. That's all the good you're gonna get, because that's all the good there is.
Well, this is where you need to show kind of the shirtless Kylo Ren.
Oh, I guess you're right. I mean, this was sort of nice too, for those that like that kind of thing.
Yes. We are a Reylo friendly channel.
Yes, Reylo friendly. Yes, don't mind all the dissing of the sequel trilogy. We are so friendly to you, Reylos. I need a clip of them kissing. I need that. The moment I play the kissing scene, that's when Sir is going to go extremely crazy.
No, don't do that, because there's only one way. There's only one place that could go, and you want to keep it PG, right?
Yes, I do want to keep it PG. maybe PG-13 at some points, but PG for the most part.
In all seriousness, and this is obviously a topic for its own stream, but if they do the Rey movie, and this has been pointed out to me, I've made Reylo friends recently, and they have interesting perspectives, and one thing they bring up, and I think is true, is if you're doing a Rey movie, it's a big mistake to not include Ben Solo or Adam Driver, because
Mm-hmm.
he did a good job with what he was given.
He did. I did like
Yeah,
Adam Driver.
except the Raylos have driven him away from ever coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, somehow maybe I've met the rare enclave of Adam Driver friendly Raylos. Who knows? But but yeah, I don't see that ever happening. I just if I were him, I wouldn't want to work with Disney anymore.
Oh, it's not the Adam Driver friendly Raylos that are it's are they Mrs. Driver friendly Raylos? That's the
Yeah.
question. That was the problem. The problem wasn't, the Raylos thirsting after Adam Driver. It was the Raylos that were trying to eliminate his wife.
Really?
Yeah, I heard about that.
They were trying to break up Adam Driver and his wife, so Adam Driver could get with Daisy Ridley. Didn't you know that?
I did not.
I'd heard about that.
Wait, no. Yes, never mind. I did. Never mind.
Yeah,
It
no,
kicked in.
that's so yeah, no, I could completely understand why Adam Driver would not want anything to do with the Ray movie.
Also,
Especially if it meant more Raylo shipping.
yeah, exactly. That is the most telling thing. They managed to make you the most positive among us sad. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the one to hold out hope for everything, and then season 3 of Mandalorian happened, and then I saw a little bit of Star Wars Visions season 2, and I liked the season 1. I did. Even for some of the parts that I didn't like that much, I still overall liked Star Wars Visions, and I wanted more. I sort of regret that now.
See,
But
I watched season 1 Star Wars Visions and went, that was cool. Don't want it, thanks.
I mean, there was a few
I
good ones.
remember warning everyone that you do not want next.
Well, okay, Mister Fortune Teller. But I mean, it is true though. I've always tried to hold out hope. I always wanted to think that there's always something better coming. But I mean, at this point, I don't think there is. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that you've got to remember what timeline we're in. Everything that's sort of coming out now is when everything was torn apart with Gina Carano leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what we're seeing now is the wall of wind from the nuclear blast. It's actually finally reached us.
Mm-hmm.
The nuclear blast has been hundreds of kilometers away, and we've just finally got that shockwave finally hit us.
I like that metaphor.
Well, it's the best.
Perfect.
It's the best sort of analogy. We've seen the big plume of destruction, and the sound wave and all that air pressure has finally reached us, and that's what Mandalorian season 3 was. It's the air pressure that's just finally hit us. But because the thing is that we can't exactly, where the blast was, we can't exactly see what is happening there. So we don't quite know what it's going to look like when it finally hits us. So yeah, it's we're in interesting times. That's
Yeah,
probably the point I was sort of getting at. Um, so yeah, we're kind of gonna have to wait and sort of see how Ahsoka is to sort of
yeah.
know what
I'm
happened at
not.
the middle of that blast.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not holding up any hope right now.
well, especially after Bad Batch, yeah, no, I'm not either.
The good thing we get out of this is now you can join us in the dark side. Yes, I am now one with the dark side.
We have cookies.
Yes, I came over here for the cookies, because chocolate chip cookies are my favorite. And you guys gave them to me, so I'm very happy. At least with the cookies, not with the state of Star Wars. That actually needs to be a Star Wars topic stream, the state of Star Wars. I think that would be a better Star Wars topics stream than the state of
Yes, but
Disney.
it's also a stream that could end in 10 minutes.
That's true, because all we have to do is say, "Oh, it's dead. See ya."
Yeah.
Well, even though I'm more on the hopeless side, I don't think Star Wars is completely dead. I think that it can be fixed, but it would take
It needs to die to be
Ahsoka,
reborn.
yeah,
yeah,
it needs Ahsoka to go back in time using the world between worlds and retcon the sequel trilogy.
that would be wonderful. I'd love that, but that won't
Well,
happen.
sorry, wiping out the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
Remove it from the timeline.
We already have two timelines, It's just use the
We
other
now
one.
need a
Use
third.
the good one.
Yeah. Use the good one, the one that's not been touched in years, the one that's been amazing, the one that people love. Oh well. Anyways, let's see. I also propose the first Just Topics episode is 4 hours long. Dang it, Chrono! What's with you people? This episode right here is already 3 hours long. I don't think I can take another hour. I'm just kidding. I love talking to you guys. But I do propose that we end this now because I do have a thing. Yes, a thing. It's a thing. And by a thing I mean sleep because I'm very tired. But anyways, I'll proceed to try to do the outro like I always do.
And
If you
proceed to
enjoyed this,
stuff it up.
huh?
Nothing.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Uh-huh. You're trying to mess me up here, okay? I see what you're doing. You're
I
trying
don't
to
need to try anything.
dang it. And the sad thing is I realize how right you are, but I will do my very best this time to do it correctly. After I get done becoming General Grievous for a second. All right. Yeah, I'm very out of practice for this. I need to get back to doing this consistently. It's just been so rough, lately. Getting sick or just time in general. Like it's just been rough. I guess that's life, as people would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So this time we're going to end it. So if you like this stream, please leave a like, leave a comment, maybe subscribe if you want to. Check the description down below. We do have our socials down there. We also, I by the way put you guys in the description finally. I don't know why it took me so long to do it, but I put your Twitter accounts in the description now. So yeah, it took me long enough. But
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
yeah, yeah. Also our Discord and our Twitch is down there. We haven't used our Twitch in a while. Maybe eventually we'll get back to that one. That would be pretty fun. I do really want to do game streams at some point, but I still have to have better internet for that, and that's not happening just yet. But other than that, that's about it. So I guess that'll be it for the night. So may the force be with you, and have a good night.